Everyone, welcome to round 3 from Manchester, where I'm hoping to win again. I was playing Nd5 Bxd5 ECF, and I played him at this event last year as well, where I won quite convincingly. It was quite a nice game actually, where he played the Benko Gambit when I used to play D4, and I managed to, I declined it actually, and I managed to win a couple of pawns, and then I kept queen, so I passed pawns and won more material as well. And then I finished up actually by mating him, so it was quite nice. But he was white this time, and he opened with D4. So no consequence this time, unless after E6 he I get the most least favourite 3. But this is even more dull than exchange French. To play C4, but even then, the Queen's Indian is nowhere near as exciting as the Nf3 Indian. I played Nf6, and I got the move which I expected, which is what I always get, Bishop F4. So White setting up a very solid reverse Slav defence, like a London system this is, but it sort of transposes into Queen's Indian, because after I played C5, White centre, E3, B6. Usually they play C4 in these positions, C3 in these positions, as a reverse Slav, like a very solid pawn triangle. Now take to unbalance it, E takes, Bishop B7. You've seen games where I played this before, I'm guessing. Bishop goes D3, D6, and D5. The reason you put the pawn on D6 is to stop White's Nd5 plans. So castle, Bishop E7, H3. You always do that. Castles. I'm obviously not going to play Knight G, I'm also going to castle. And something like Knight D2, just I've had a few games for this. I'm going to play Rook E8, Bishop F8, G6, Bishop G7, Queen C7, Rook C8, E5, A6, A6, E5. And he's going to play stuff like, well, he can't play the usual London plan of playing Knight E5, Queen F3, Queen H3, but what he can play is Knight G5, Knight E4, maybe A4, A5, a lot of different plans. But it's not very exciting at any rate. My results are excellent with this system. He played C4. So the game transposes to Queen's Indian, and there's a lot of positions where I can actually, he never actually plays H3, so I can win the bishop pair with Knight H5, but I just think he lets me take it, and then he has a good grip on E5, so I was never going to do that. Bishop B7 was played, so now we're into a unusual sort of Queen's Indian, with Bishop F4, Knight C3, A6, so I just play my hedgehog, and I was a bit worried that if I take. For some reason I was really worried about this move. But actually I've got a good response. Bishop B4 check. And in fact, because of if Knight D2, I've got Knight E4. And Knight C7 check, which is answered by King E7, and White can't deal with all the threats. So actually after Bishop B4 check, White has to move his king up to E2, which is obviously not good. Now he actually gets castle out of it, because if he goes for the rook, I've got E5, a very dangerous initiative. So Bishop takes E5, D6. And if Bishop takes F6, then I play Queen takes E7. It's very dangerous for Whiteness. So this. So I overlooked that. I played A6, very tricky move, and I was already consuming actually quite a lot of time early on for Bishop D3, D6. This C4 confused me, and I was trying to like work out different positions and that, and I was playing very slowly. Castles, Bishop E7, Queen E2. I decided to chop now on D4, E takes D4 and castled. I decided to keep pieces on A6 for now in case he wants to try and get C5 in, with 10 pawn on A6, Rook AC1. But I do not like my position here, I think White's a bit better, it's hard to think of a plan. Knight to Bd7, Rook D1, Queen C7. So I'm going to aim for my E5 plan. And now he's spent ages, nearly 20 minutes to play Knight G5. He could have also, I think Queen C7 is actually a very bad move in this position, where the pawn on C3 is very good, but the pawn on C4, and on the same line as the Rook, is actually very bad. So in this position I should have just played Rook E8. And next time I'm going to play the Bishop F8 plan. But I was worried in this position that his knight Queen into E4. After Knight takes E4, Bishop takes E4. Bishop takes E4, Queen takes E4. knight f6. I was worried about his queen coming to c6, but it's actually not as strong. Let's play queen d7. And if queen takes b6, I have rook eb8, queen a5, rook takes b2 with advantage. So I played this horrible move, knight g5, knight g5. And now I thought I'm miscalculating this position. I thought it was threatening knight takes c6, f takes c6, queen takes c6 check, but I used to play rook f7, there's no follow up. So I had my typical T-unit panic moments, and if I hadn't had that panic moment, I'd have played rook e8. Because if his rook was on e1, this would be very bad, because he'd have knight takes f7 and queen takes c6, a very strong attack. But in this position, you can actually threaten that with rook e1, so then I should probably put my knight back to f8. If he doesn't play rook e1, I should probably just kick his knight at h6. An alternative is h6, but actually h6 actually does a lot. The stack's good after this actually. Takes, queen takes, rook f7 and knight d5. Another reason why queen c7 is very bad. I've got to give my bishop up. Takes back with pawn with temple. Got to make my queen. Bishop into g6. This is just crunching. Got to play rook f8, and after rook c6, white is almost winning. So actually the sack's actually sort of his friend, all because it's queen c7 move. I played e5, and it's an absolute terrible move. I spent ages on it as well, but it's just timed completely incorrectly. So after d takes e5, knight takes e5, knight d5 was played. My opponent managed to see it, and now because of the pressure on h7, the only move to actually stay in the game is to actually give my powerful bishop up. And you know, if you give your bishop on b7 up for a knight, then you know the head's gone horribly wrong. I knew I was probably going to lose this game at this point. Because if I if I take with the knight, if he takes here, queen moves somewhere, takes f7 check, king h8, queen h5, good game. I can try taking this, but there's nothing I can do, it's lost. So I have to play this on the queen, queen b8, and I played bishop takes c5, which I expected. Because otherwise I can take his d3 bishop. If he just moves his, if he takes this straight away, then actually still good, but I get a bit of counter after h6, knight f3, knight takes, he has to take with the pawn now, so I get a bit of chances against his king maybe after knight h5, but it shouldn't be enough. We took this first, d takes, I spent ages on this move, and surprisingly he didn't take this, because I was worried that actually that's not a good move actually. I thought he might be worried about queen a6. But he can just, I thought, take this, and then I move the bishop. But then again, he's actually, I've got bishop takes f2 check as a threat. He should, and then knight g4. So bishop d3 is best. And then bishop takes f2 check, king h1. Now if I take this one, yes, knight takes h7. Knight takes, bishop takes, king takes, queen check, which we get into bishop. That's just a sample line that to show white's chances in this position, but what he played was good. Another option was rook c6, which was suggested by f6, which of course should be prevented, with bishop d6, which also protects the pawn. Now bishop takes a6, h6, knight h3, and rook d8 with counterplay, potentially with e4. So he played rook c4, so his plan is to try and get his rook to h4 to murder me. I decided to kick the knight while still got the chance. It went back to f3, and now he's threatening the e5 pawn twice, but at least he's not on a6 anymore. So I played bishop d6, and this also blockades white's passed pawn. But of course I'd rather have a knight in d6 than a bishop, to be honest, because the knight's the best blockade of a passed pawn. Anyway, so now he played bishop f5, bishop f5. Now I missed e4. I just thought it doesn't do anything. He just takes the bishop. I'll step. Now I've got b5, rook c d4, bishop c5. Now he has to play d6 in between move. Bishop takes d4, bishop takes a8. Bishop moves. This bishop moves, and then after bishop takes d6, we've got an interesting bishop's off the colour position with actually a balanced pawn structure. So this will probably be quite drawish, especially if the queens come off. g6 was played, which is weaken the king side quite badly, but my plan is just get his bishop off this good square. Bishop goes back to b1, pointing to my king. Now again, e4 should be played. I mean, it looks like it's a pawn sacrifice for ages, but it should be pretty logical that even as a pawn sack, this is obviously a good move. It brings 2 pieces into the game. Basically, I'm giving it 1 point to gain 12 into the game. I mean, that's obviously a good swap. My P of a brain can't work it out, especially after bishop takes e4. I've got rook e8. A lot of pressure. So I need to be a little more dynamic. I mean, I do quite a few pawn sacrifices, and you've seen other videos, but I need to do more. I'm not dynamic enough. Rook e8. Again, trying to get e4 in. I plays queen e3. I know he tries to murder me on king side, but e4 is actually the strongest in this position. If queen takes h6, the first chucking the move b5, rook c6, e takes f3, and now white sacks on g6, white is lost. If I take, then I lose after queen takes g6, because then my knight goes with check. However, I have the splendid move, rook e5. And now it ended up perfect check actually, because white sacks on d6, but it's bishop a7 check. The point is now that because my queen's on d6, I can't take the bishop, as in the previous line, because it's pinned. So I have to play king h8, and then the bishop goes back, and white can't mate me, so it's going to be a draw. e4 seems to lead to a forced draw. I played king g7 instead to protect it, and I played rook h4, which I thought was a bit pointless because I used to block with the knights. But actually, it's not a very bad move, as you're going to see. I should have just played h4, 5, but that's not a very human move, giving up the g5 square like that. Ways to defend it. If I play g5, that's horrific, it opens up the bishop, and in fact, white just plays rook takes h6, king takes h6, and queen takes g5's mate. Of course, if I don't take it, I'm lost. So I'll play knight h5. And now white the problem is it's to do with f5 square, this an exchange sack. And white could in this position have played rook takes h5. G takes h5, knight h4. And the pressure is very strong, but we're going to see something similar. Bishop e4, blockading the pawn. I could have stood my knight on f4, but I decided not to for some reason. Played bishop e7. And now my opponent played a very strong move, and I'll probably able to give you hints, but it's even worse for the bishop on e7. But can you calculate some of the lines of the exchange sack, rook takes h5? Let's pause the video to have a go. Well, my opponent played it. After g takes h5, he made a... Well, actually, now the first move is correct, he played d6. So I took it. Now I think my opponent overlooked quite a... It's sack if white just plays bishop takes a8, because it ends up quite level. But, and I'd seen this as well, my opponent should have just gone from a king instead. Knight h4. And I'm practically almost defenseless against Nf5 check. I mean, it forks the bishop and the h6 pawn. I thought I'm lost if he plays this. As soon as I played bishop e7, I actually saw this continuation. I was like, oh no, I've lost. I couldn't really get up and have a walk around very much because I think I had less than 10 minutes left by this point. It'd be a bit risky. Yeah, just nothing. Can't find defense. Just lost. But he took the material back. I think what I overlooked was that I've got this move in between, Vision Zug, and then I take the bishop. And he actually made it really easy for me. I mean, he regained his pawn, and he probably thought I'm better than his ending because I've got double pawns on the king side and it's equal material. But this bishop, rook and bishop are a much better team than rook and knight, and that more than makes up for it. And I thought after rook e8, I'm getting the initiative. His best move was to play the awkward looking rook d5, and they ended up probably drawn. I've got double pawns. He's got bishop against, and I've got bishop against the knight on return. In fact, the best move is actually liquidating into a rook and pawn ending. King f1 and now b5, and white cannot really hope to win this. I played rook but he played rook e1, which is a blunder because I played bishop d4, and now he has to move his knight, and then I play bishop takes b2. So I had about 3 minutes on my clock this, plus the increment. He had about 15. So I've got plenty of time actually, because although it's not easy to win, it probably is still drawn this. because my double pawns on king's side, so we can stop my queen side or his king or something. That is a draw, which I think you can do by force. But again, my endgame's not very good, so I need a stronger player in the comments to give some analysis and feedback on this. And stronger player will probably bet anyone above 150 because my endgames are that bad, it's unreal. So anyway, hopefully moves fairly quickly. I played a5 to try and restrict his knight. He stopped me getting the passed pawn, so now he's fixed my queen side, so that was probably an inaccuracy, but I was very short of time. I was almost on the 32nd increment, move increment. So this endgame was not played particularly well by either side. But now my king seems to come in fast, so maybe that's the mistake. But I think I'm starting to get the better of it now, but I'm not sure why it went wrong. Now b5 in this position, which I looked at briefly, and a4 is pretty strong. So he plays b6 to get my bishop, to fight my bishop away, then knight b1, I play king in, and this seems a lot faster in the game. bc3. Now again b5, but this is simpler. But now it's winning. Got two connected queenside pass pawns. For white to draw, he has to stop me winning the a pawn, and the a probably is a draw. The bishop as well. Like in this position, if they tried knight d6, which wins my f7 pawn, b4, knight takes f7. You can even have a6 as well, because my bishop controls both the king side and the queen side. And now that's just a complete win. So now we try this check, and knight around here, but he's moved the bishop back. I could actually let the bishop drop actually, but I thought why take any risks? I mean, it's obviously winning, but don't want to mess it up. Like in my game against James Thompson at Leeds. Now it's just a matter of technique. Probably won even quicker, but a short time. And now after a2 he resigned. I was hoping he'd play this, he'd take it and then resign, because then I could say I've had a 52 move game, which would be very good. But I'm winning 51 moves instead, but God, I was lucky. I played the opening very poorly and was lost at one point, but I hope you enjoyed it, and please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.